How's it going, everyone? Today, what we are going over is multiplying polynomials. All right, so we have two things of multiplying polynomials. One of them is just going to be the easy, just distributive property, like you take whatever's out here and you multiply it inside your parentheses. And then we have another one's called double distribution, where we have to multiply it twice when we have like a binomial times like a polynomial, or a binomial times another binomial. That's tomorrow. All right, so let's kind of jump right in. Before we jump right in, actually, we need to review something. And this is called the product rule. The product rule says this, right? When you have same bases that are being multiplied, what do you do to their exponents? You must add their exponents. That's how you get this. So for instance, let's say I had c times c squared. Oh, same bases being multiplied, so we add their exponents. What's the exponent on the c? There's a 1 here. So then this is going to be c to the third power, c to the third power. Now, let's say I had something like this, 2a times negative 3a squared. Now, this is very similar. What we need to do is, first, what we need to multiply is the numbers in front, their coefficients. So first we multiply that. So 2 times a negative 3 is a negative 6. Then we go ahead and multiply the variables. So a times a squared is going to be a to the third power, because there's a 1 here. So this is a to the third. And then that's it. So this is your final answer, a to the third. So that's basically a little kind of preview of what we're getting into. The highlighted problems are the problems that I'm going to do for this video. I'm not going to do all of them. And then we'll stop there. All right, so let's jump right into this. So for two problems, I'm going to show you like my scratch work, what I'm actually doing, and then the next problems I won't be doing that. So let's see. Our whole goal is to drop parentheses and to combine like terms. So let's get rid of our parentheses. How do we get rid of our parentheses? We always take what's outside and multiply it inside. That's step one. Get rid of parentheses, then combine like terms. All right, so here's what I actually have going on. I have 3c times a negative 2c. That's going to be the first part of my answer. And then I also have 3c times a negative 5. All right, so let's go ahead and solve this. So what is 3 times a negative 2? That is a negative 6. All right, what is c times c? That is c squared, right? Same bases, yes, c and c. So then we have 1 and 1 here. So c times c is going to be c squared. All right, so that's the first part of my answer, negative 6c squared. All right, the second part of my answer it's right down here. So in this case, we multiply the coefficients, or the numbers. So we multiply those. So 3 times a negative 5 is a negative 15. And then c times, well, there's not another variable, so you just carry it along. We don't lose it. So this is now just negative 15c minus 15, or negative 15c. And that's it. We've simplified it. These are different terms, right? Because this is c squared, and this is c, and that's it. Next problem. Same goes, drop parentheses, combine like terms. So we need to multiply this in, multiply this in, multiply it in. All right, this is the last time I write my scratch work. Negative 3n times n squared. What do I get? So remember, what's my coefficient in front of this n squared? There's a 1 there. So multiply my coefficients, negative 3 times 1, that's a negative 3. All right, we have n times n squared. Well, that's n to the third, right? Same bases, add their exponents. 1 plus 2 is 3. All right, so that's the first part of my answer. So we have negative 3n to the third power, or n cubed. All right, next one. This is that first part. Here's the second part. So we have negative 3n times negative 2n. All right, same goes, multiply their coefficients, and then we multiply same bases. So negative 3 times a negative 2 is a positive 6. N times n is n squared. So we add that plus 6n squared. Because it's positive, we write it plus. Last part, negative 3n plus, or sorry, not 3 plus, times 8. All right, same goes like the last one. We need to multiply the numbers and just carry along the letter, because there is no other n to multiply it with. Negative 3 times 8 is a negative 24n. All right, minus 24n, or negative 24n, and we're pretty much done. This is your final answer. These are, you can't combine any other like terms, right, because they're all different. So we have a n cubed, n squared, and then n, they're all different, and that's it. All right, we have 2 more problems and then we'll be done. So here's the next problem. This one's a little different because notice this right here is outside of your parentheses. So we still need to combine like terms, but what we'll have to do is first get rid of this parentheses here, drop that, and then we'll bring this down, and then we'll combine like terms there. So remember, our whole goal, get rid of parentheses, drop parentheses, and then combine like terms. So let's go ahead and do this. Please don't multiply this negative 2x times a 7x. This 7x is not inside the parentheses, so you do not need to multiply this times that, right? Only times whatever's inside that parentheses. All right, so we have negative 2x times 3x. All right, so negative 2 times 3 is a negative 6. X times x is an x squared. Bam. Negative 2x times a negative 4. So negative 2 times negative 4 is a positive 8. Carry the x because there's nothing that's going to change it. Bring down what we have not used yet. Bam. All right, then you ask yourself, are there any like terms? Well, yes, there are, Mr. Salas, right here. All right, so let's go ahead and bring that down. 6x squared, 8x plus 7x. Why no? 8 plus 8 is 16. That's 1 less, so we have, bam, 15x. All right, final answer. Check. Last one. All right. So, yeah, this is the last one right here. So this last one is very, very similar. It's the same thing. Our whole goal is to drop the parentheses and then combine all like terms. So let's go ahead and do that. So I need to multiply these in. Oh, there's only 2 there. Multiply this in 3 times and then combine like terms. So 5w times negative 7w. So that's 7 times a negative 5 is a negative 35. W squared, right? Because w times w is w squared. 5w times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Carry the w because nothing changed it. All right. 2w times a negative 2w squared. So 2 times a negative 2 is going to be a negative 4. W times a w squared, that's just a w to the 3rd power. All right, so we have positive 2w times this here. That's going to be a, what is that, positive 38w squared, right? 2 times 19 is 38. W times w is w squared. Last part, 2w times 2. That's just going to be positive 4w. Almost done. Identify like terms, and we are done. All right, so let's start with this. Here's a square, w squared. Any other w squareds? Yes. All right, that's a like term. All right, so here's a w. Is there any of the w's? Yes. And then we have this one right here. This is a to the power of 3. Now we just got to write our answer by combining our like terms. Now when we combine our like terms, I said this in the last video, we must make sure that we put it in descending order, basically meaning have the highest degree first, and then the next, and then the next. The highest degree in this case is this one here, right? It's a 3. So negative 4 to the w, negative 4w to the 3rd power. The reason why I just brought it down is because there's no other like term, right? There's no other like term. I'm not going to add it or combine it with anything because it's a different, there's no other like term. All right, so I got rid of the 3rd. Now we got to do squared. So negative 35 plus 38, that's going to be a positive 3w squared. That goes away. And 15 plus 4 is 19w. And we are done. All right, so that was your notes for today. Your homework is going to be all of the even problems on this page right here. So just go ahead and do all those even problems, and then you guys are done. Thanks for watching this video.